Oh, here we go. I'm going to put a load on them. First I'm going to clean them up a little bit, clean the post. I'm going to check to make sure there's water in there. Then put a load on them. And I'm only going to use the group 31s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the only ones I'm going to use. So I have 6 group 31s. And there's a group 27 there, deep cycle. I'll put a load on it just to see if it's any good. Keep it as a spare out back or something, see what happens. The 8D, I don't know, I'll check it. But that's probably close to, hey Duff, it's close to maybe 8 years old. So that battery's kind of old. Actually, these group 31s are probably 5 years old, so they're probably toasted already anyway, but we'll see. Sometimes we can bring them back. If I can just get them back just to last for a few more months, until I decide what I'm going to do on either leaving this up or taking it down, because I don't know if I'm going to go through the hassle of taking it all down, taking it with me, or you know, and buy new batteries, or leave it here and just put some new batteries in it for when I go to sell it. So sometimes it could be a selling point, and other times it could be a deterrent because people get confused with things. So, you know, it's a lot of work. We got to go out, we got to check the batteries, we got to go out, we got to do this, we got to do that. So, but we'll see. So let me get busy. Anyway, as I was saying, the orange batteries are the ones they put in the cell tower, cell sites. If they lose power, that's what runs it. My kid used to run the company, and they would put 10, 15, 20, depending on the cell tower and who was actually paying to have it done and how much they wanted. Some wanted to have the extras. Some wanted to have just bare minimum. You know, they play the odds. And those were expensive, and I got them, I think, for like $100 a piece, give or take. I don't remember exactly because it was quite a while ago. But then he started going into these because these were lasting longer. However, they were a lot more money. Again, they weren't too much more on his end, but naturally on the other end, they were getting expensive. So not everybody turned over to these. Some of the bigger companies did. But I bought a bunch of these as well. I'm not sure, but I think these cost me like $1.50. I'm not positive. I couldn't tell you the truth. All right, but I know they didn't cost me any more than these Group 31s. Those were about $1.60 a piece, and I got those when I worked at West Marine. So, and then actually you got a D8 or an 8D over there, which I really wouldn't recommend unless you needed crank power. For store power, you can put 3 of these in the same place and end up with 3 times the amount of that, because that's only going to give you 250 amp hours. So these will give you, I think they're 2 1/4 or 220, rated at 25 amp hours. So these are pretty good. That one there, forget about it. As you can see, the post wore right off. That's probably why all the batteries started to corrode. I'm hoping it didn't take them out. That one I won't put back in. The only ones I'm going to put back in are the Group 31s, and only if I can save them. Because if I can't, I'm not going to take a chance. I'll only use what's good. I'll put a load on them, and if I have to throw some more acid in there, I will, because they are acid. They're lead acid. And that's it. But, you know, if they got one bad one in the bunch, it'll take them all out. And that's why I'm hoping that this one didn't take them out. If it brought them down, that's fine. But if it boiled them out, I'm screwed. So, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to let this dry out. Tomorrow I'm going to rip it down and build a new one. But I'm going to build it, stack them instead of laying them flat. And it'll be a lot easier to work on them too. I won't have to get down on my knees. So there it is. So right now we have no solar or wind turbine. Man, what a mess. Yeah, I put that up when we bought this place. About 5 years, 6 years. Who keeps track at this point? I think we bought this in 2000. 2008, maybe 2007. It was 2007, yeah. So none of this was pressure treated, because at the time I didn't know how many batteries I was going to actually end up buying to put in here. So I kind of just nailed it together. Again, temporary. It's amazing how I do some temporaries that always end up being permanent until they fall apart on me. But at this point, Tucker, get out of there. At this point, I'm going to clean it all up, and I got some pressure treated in there, and I'm going to shelve it and go upright. And for now, I'm just going to put the 3 batteries on a shelf, and I am going to put up 4 shelves. This way I will have room for 12 batteries if I want. But first I got to see exactly what I'm going to be doing. Like I said earlier, I got to clean this mess up first. That's the underground. That feeds all the way underground, all the way up past the dog kennel here, up into the basement of the house. And that feeds 12 volt throughout the whole house. There is one 12 volt circuit in every room that will handle a light, or I gotta charge something. It's a cigarette lighter plug adapter. And then there's one standard plug, 12 volt in every room, so that if I did have to plug in a lamp with a 12 volt bulb in it, and I have those marked as well, I can. However, I'm not a big believer of using regular lamps with a 12 volt bulb, because for some reason the switches want to burn out on them. They run a little hot because of the difference in current. And then there's a 12 volt main that goes all the way from the back of the house, again in the basement, all the way to the front of the house. There's also a main 12 fuse breaker, or fuse box in the basement, right where it goes in. And there's also an inverter in there if I need it, which runs some of it. So there's quite a bit that ran off of this. Like I say, 1/3 of the house. Every light that we used throughout the course of the evening basically ran off of this. You know, even the cabinet, under the cabinet lights, they all ran off of 12 volt. One light in every room. If it wasn't running off of 12 volt, it was running off of a plug which had the inverter on it, which was also a separate entity from the grid. Because what I did was I also ran a plug in every room separate into the inverter. So when the inverter's on, I have 110 volts in every room as well. So, but anyway, let me do what I got to do here. I'll keep you informed a little bit at a time.